The hidden creatine side effect. Nobody warned you about. Everyone talks about creatine helping build muscle, improve workouts, and increase strength. But what if the most surprising effect has nothing to do with muscles at all? There's actually a hidden creatine side effect that catches a lot of people completely off guard, strangely enough, and almost nobody warns you about it before you start taking it. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's unexpected. Most people only think about creatine as a gym supplement, so when other changes start happening, they don't immediately connect the dots. And honestly, that's where things get really interesting. Beyond the muscle and workout benefits, some people notice weird little changes in energy, focus, recovery, hydration, and even daily habits that they never saw coming. Some effects are positive, some are confusing at first, and some are completely misunderstood online. Today, we're breaking down the overlooked side of creatine. The hidden effects people rarely talk about, the strange changes users often notice, and what's actually happening inside the body when creatine becomes part of your routine. And trust me, number 6 is the one that surprises people the most. But before we begin, drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. Alright, let's get started. Number 1. The scale can go up almost overnight. Have you ever started taking something that's supposed to be healthy, then suddenly panicked because the scale went up? That's actually one of the first hidden side effects many people experience with creatine. Within the first week or two, some people notice their weight jump unexpectedly. And honestly, if nobody warned you ahead of time, it can feel pretty stressful. Most people immediately think, great, I'm gaining fat already. But in many cases, that's not what's happening at all. Here's the important part. Creatine usually doesn't cause rapid fat gain. What it does is pull extra water into your muscle cells. That added water helps muscles stay hydrated, recover better, and perform more efficiently during workouts and physical activity. In other words, the weight increase is often just water being stored inside the muscles, not body fat suddenly appearing overnight. What's interesting is that this same effect is also why many people notice their muscles looking slightly fuller, firmer, or more pumped after starting creatine. For some people, that's a positive thing, but for others, especially anyone focused on losing weight, the rising number on the scale can feel frustrating or confusing, and that confusion causes a lot of people to quit creatine too early. They assume something went wrong when their body is actually responding exactly the way creatine is designed to work. That's why understanding this side effect matters so much. Sometimes the scale is only showing extra water inside healthier, better hydrated muscles, not unwanted fat gain. Number 2, you may feel more thirsty than usual. This side effect sounds incredibly simple, but it catches a lot of people off guard surprisingly fast. After starting creatine, many users suddenly notice they feel thirstier throughout the day without really understanding why. They start reaching for water more often, waking up thirsty, or feeling dry and sluggish out of nowhere. The reason is actually pretty straightforward. Creatine helps pull extra water into your muscle cells, which is part of how it supports muscle performance and recovery. But because your muscles are holding on to more water, your body's overall need for hydration can increase too. And if you ignore that increased need for fluids, your body tends to let you know pretty quickly. Some people start feeling tired, dehydrated, foggy, or just off without realizing hydration is the real issue. Others notice headaches, dry mouth, or lower energy during the day. What's funny is that creatine itself usually isn't causing the problem. It's exposing hydration habits that probably weren't great to begin with. And honestly, this side effect may actually help some people in the long run. A lot of adults already walk around mildly dehydrated every day without realizing it. Busy schedules, coffee, stress, and simply forgetting to drink enough water can slowly become normal. Creatine often forces people to finally pay attention to hydration consistently, and many people end up feeling better overall because of it. Better energy, smoother workouts, fewer headaches, and improved recovery sometimes come not just from the creatine itself, but from finally giving the body enough water to function properly. Number 3, your muscles might look fuller. Before you feel stronger, ever look in the mirror after starting creatine and think, wait, do I already look different? That's actually one of the hidden effects that catches people by surprise all the time. What's interesting is that these visual changes can sometimes show up before any major strength improvements become obvious. Muscles may start looking slightly fuller, rounder, or more pumped even in the early stages of taking creatine. And for a lot of people, that's the first noticeable sign that something is happening. The reason comes down to water inside the muscle cells. Creatine helps muscles hold more water internally, which can make them appear firmer and more filled out. It's not instant muscle growth overnight, but visually, it can create the impression that muscles look healthier and more noticeable relatively quickly. Some people absolutely love this effect. They feel more confident, more motivated, and excited that their body already looks a little different. But others feel confused because their appearance changes before their actual performance improves in a noticeable way. They expect strength to change first, not the mirror. And honestly, this is one reason creatine developed such a strong visual reputation in the fitness world. People often see something happening before they fully feel the long-term muscle-building benefits. Of course, real muscle growth still takes time, consistency, training, nutrition, and recovery. Creatine doesn't magically build huge muscles overnight. But that fuller appearance is one of the reasons so many people feel like creatine starts working visually before the deeper physical changes fully catch up. Number 4. Stomach problems usually come from one big mistake. Here's something a lot of people completely misunderstand about creatine. In many cases, creatine itself isn't actually the reason for stomach problems. The dosage is. A lot of people hear about loading phases and immediately assume taking huge amounts will give them faster muscle growth or quicker results, so they suddenly start taking massive doses without giving their body time to adjust, and that's usually when the problems begin. Bloating, stomach cramps, nausea, digestive discomfort, or loose stools often show up because the body is simply getting more creatine than it comfortably handles at once. Then people blame the supplement itself, even though the real issue is often overdoing it. What's funny is that most people do perfectly fine with much smaller daily amounts. Around 3 to 5 grams per day is enough for many people to gradually saturate their muscles and get long-term benefits without upsetting their stomach. This is one of those situations where trying to speed things up often backfires completely. Instead of getting better results, people just end up uncomfortable and frustrated. And, honestly, creatine tends to work best when people stop chasing shortcuts and simply stay consistent. Smaller daily doses, enough water, patience, and regular training usually work far better than trying to overload the body for instant results. Number 5. Workouts can start feeling surprisingly easier. Now this is where things start getting really interesting. A lot of people expect creatine to feel dramatic, like some huge burst of energy, or an instant superhero transformation the moment they start taking it. But honestly, that's usually not how it works at all. The real effect is often much more subtle. Instead of suddenly feeling unstoppable, workouts just start feeling smoother overall. Recovery between sets improves a little, muscles don't fatigue quite as quickly, and high-effort movements feel slightly easier to repeat. You may notice you finish workouts feeling less drained than usual or recover faster between exercises without even thinking about it. At first, those changes can seem almost too small to matter, but that's exactly what makes creatine so interesting. The benefits often build quietly in the background, and over weeks and months, those small improvements start stacking up in a big way. Better recovery helps people train more consistently. Better consistency leads to more strength, improved endurance, and better long-term progress. That's why many people eventually realize creatine isn't really about one dramatic moment. It's about helping the body handle effort a little better every single time. And honestly, those steady, repeatable improvements are often far more valuable than short bursts of motivation or temporary energy spikes that disappear after a few hours. Number 6. Some people notice better mental focus. This is the hidden side effect almost nobody expects. Most people think creatine is only about muscles, strength, and gym performance, but creatine also helps support energy production in the brain. And honestly, that's where things start getting really interesting. Some users report feeling mentally sharper, more focused, or less mentally exhausted during stressful or demanding days. Others notice they can concentrate a little longer, feel less foggy, or handle mental fatigue better than usual. Now, it's important not to exaggerate this. Creatine doesn't suddenly turn someone into a genius or magically replace sleep, healthy habits, or stress management. But researchers have become increasingly interested in the connection between creatine and cognitive function, especially when it comes to mental energy and brain performance. And for many people, this mental effect ends up being even more surprising than the physical changes. They expected stronger workouts or fuller muscles, but they didn't expect to feel mentally more stable or focused, too. That's one reason creatine has started getting attention far beyond fitness circles. Because once people realize it may support both physical and mental performance, the conversation around creatine suddenly becomes much bigger than just building muscle in the gym. Number 7. You may become more consistent without realizing it. Here's a weird psychological side effect that people rarely notice at first. When workouts start feeling better and recovery gets easier, people naturally become more consistent with exercise without even realizing it. And honestly, that consistency changes everything. When workouts feel less exhausting, people are more likely to keep showing up. Better workouts lead to better progress. Better progress builds confidence. And once confidence starts growing, motivation usually follows right behind it. Suddenly, movement feels rewarding instead of frustrating. People walk more, train more regularly, stay active longer, and start feeling better about what their body can still do. It creates this quiet little feedback loop that slowly builds momentum over time. More activity leads to better results. Better results create more confidence. More confidence makes healthy habits easier to maintain. And before long, exercise stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like progress. That's why the biggest benefit of creatine sometimes isn't just physical strength at all. In many cases, it's helping people stay engaged long enough to actually build healthier habits that last. And honestly, that may be the most powerful effect of all. Because long-term health rarely comes from one amazing workout, it comes from consistency. And anything that helps people stay consistent can quietly transform their health, energy, confidence, and quality of life over time. Number 8. The real changes happen slower than social media claims. Let's be honest for a second. Social media has completely distorted people's expectations around creatine. You see insane transformations, dramatic before and after photos, and influencers acting like creatine will completely change your body overnight. So naturally, a lot of people start taking it, expecting instant results within a few days. And when that doesn't happen, they assume the supplement isn't working. But the real hidden truth about creatine is almost the opposite. Its biggest benefits usually happen slowly and quietly over time. Strength improves steadily, not instantly. Recovery gets a little easier week by week. Energy during workouts becomes more reliable. Muscles may feel fuller. Workouts start feeling smoother. And over months of consistency, those small improvements gradually turn into noticeable long-term progress. That's what makes creatine different from something like caffeine. It's not about one dramatic feeling. It's about helping the body perform slightly better over and over again until those improvements start compounding. And honestly, that's why patience matters so much. The people who usually get the best results with creatine aren't the ones chasing shortcuts or expecting miracles after 3 days. They're the people who stay consistent, keep training, support their body properly, and give the process enough time to work. Ironically, the less dramatic creatine feels at first, the more effective it often becomes in the long run. So, what's the hidden creatine side effect nobody warned you about? Honestly, it may be that creatine affects much more than just muscles. From hydration and mental focus to workout consistency and confidence, the changes can show up in ways people never expect. What about you? Have you ever noticed an unexpected effect while taking creatine? Or are you thinking about trying it for the first time? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more honest health and fitness content without the hype.